Uh oh. Hang on here. There we go. Um, yeah, this might be a little bit shorter chat. It is freezing out here. My little heater back there. It's trying all it can, but it's across the room. It's just enough to kind of take the chill off, but it is. I know it's supposed to get down to like 25 tonight, so it's a little chilly. And I'm probably going to be alone. Everybody's off doing their own thing. Uh, so we and also there's still a slight leak from my furnace, so I am slowly getting gassed in here. But there's a link for this week's poll in the chat, so if you haven't voted in the poll, head over there and vote. And we'll take a look at that in just a little bit. Hopefully, everyone is doing good tonight. I got some patches for future giveaway, some K-Bar patches. And I would like to give a big shout out to K-Bar. I paid for these, they didn't send them to me, but I had ordered some stuff from the K-Bar website. And I think I talked about it last week, where it was taking a long time to ship. And one of the things I had ordered was from their discontinued section. And they sent me an email saying, sorry, one of your items is out of stock and we're not going to get more. So, as a courtesy, we'll send you the rest of your order for free, which I thought was very awesome of them to do. I mean, it wasn't much; it was only the patches. I but I wouldn't have expected them to do that. So, it's a thank you to K-Bar. It's a U.S. company, make awesome knives. There's you can just see the blue handle of the space bar back there. And so far out there, we have Ozzy Osbourne barking at the moon, Woods, and I think that's everybody that said, oh, Vulcan Rumbles out there is here. No gun to shoot at the range. And Woods said, I want that Space Force knife because Space Force needs a knife. It's funny. And Woods was saying it's 28 where he's at. He's a little bit north of me. I'm not sure what the temperature is right now here. Take a quick. 28. So it's 28 here also, according to the weather app. And what? Uh, yeah, I had tried to. Uh, I got a refund from AT&T when I because they bought DirecTV. So when I canceled the service, they sent me a refund on a gift card, uh, and it's a gift card that it's only good for 3 months. It has a 3 month expiration, and it's been a pain in the ass to try to use that thing. I tried to order something from Palmetto State Armory, and it I got an email from them saying, well, this is an item that's banned in your state. So they refunded it to me, but it showed up as a charge. So I have a negative balance on that gift card. Um, I don't know on which end the mistake was made, but I emailed the card company and said, hey, this was supposed to be a refund. And it shows up as a second charge. So we'll see where that goes. Mr. Bob Dobolina's out there. Said it's 22. Tomorrow's supposed to get to 9. I think it's supposed to be about 25 here tomorrow. No snow this year. I don't know if we'll get snow this year. Usually we'll get 1 or 2 days of snow over the winter, but nothing so far. Justin Grimm is out there. Says it's 4, feels like negative 15. And Christopher Reed is out there. Good evening. So I guess we can take a look at the poll, this week's poll. Oh, where did I put it? Hang on here while I share it. That's the wrong one. There we go. Let's see, and then we'll make it bigger. So this week's poll was: how often do you go to the gun range / go shooting? Couple times a month, every couple of months, a couple times a year, or I don't. And it's pretty even. I was kind of surprised, but 30%, 30% said a couple times a month. 24% said every couple of months, and 23% for a couple of times a year, and 23% I don't. How's it going, G Webs?
Friend of Midland. I think I figured it out. Is this working?
Yep. Sounds good.
Yeah, this is definitely. I keep forgetting that it only works in Chrome, so I always have to remember at the last minute how to jump over here. But anyway, there I am.
So looking at the comments, Chris Lang said almost every weekend. Krabby Turtle, every single weekend. I have a lot of catching up to do. Tim Allen, I live on 10 acres, so my range is outside facing the hill. Yeah, I kind of wish I had property where I could do that, but that's not likely to happen. Fuku YT Mark 6, I live on the range. Tactical Maverick, not as often as I like. And next Bowman, I go weekly, live 15 minutes from public land. I mainly shoot 22 to keep the cost down. So, yeah, I used to go. I used to try to go 2 to 3 times a week, just to kind of justify the price for the range, the club that I belong to.
Like membership.
Yeah, because I figured it's the closest indoor range, and the other one, I kind of figured the price of going to the one that's farther away, with driving there, and then even when you're a member, they still have to pay every time you go. But I need to actually cancel my membership because haven't been going. I've been going to the outdoor range, which I belong to. As the indoor range, you could only shoot rifles the last hour of the day, and I can't be there for the last hour of the day. And the outdoor range it's only like 5 minutes farther away. But I can take my handguns and rifle. The handgun bay is right next to the high-powered rifle range, and it's cheaper in total, but I'm paying for both, and I just need to cancel the other indoor range. So I'm paying a lot for something I'm not using. So, and every month I forget about it, get the charge, and it's like, oh, I need to remember to cancel this. And then I'll think, well, I've already paid for it, so I'll just wait till just before it recharges that I get charged again. And then I forget, and then I get charged again. So I just need to go down tomorrow and take care of that. But thank you to everybody that voted in the poll. Oh, do you get out to the range very much, G-Webs?
No.
Uh,
But it's like anything when you're, what do you call it, like learning, or when you're enjoying the growth of knowledge or whatever, you're going to do it more often, right?
yeah.
So pulling triggers and stuff is neat, but there's a lot of other aspects. You could show something like simple like reloading. So you're allowed to. Nobody has a problem with people, enjoying the reloading aspect of it, even though it's like a chore or a labor. But there's all kinds of other aspects of gun ownership, collecting or investing. So there's so many other things that I've enjoyed besides just pulling triggers. That I get it, but I'm just, there's phases or whatever. I'm just not in that phase where I'm shooting a bunch. If I had somebody around to go shooting with all the time, I'd probably be shooting more, but all of my friends are in the same kind of place. But we shot a lot.
Yeah. And it's, it is a cost attributed to going a lot. Even if, aside from like the competition shooters, which reload thousands and thousands of rounds, they can bring their costs down. But for the average person just buying boxes of ammo, it can be expensive. If you if you go, you figure you're probably going to shoot maybe 50 rounds, 50 to 100 rounds per gun that you take, maybe, uh, and that adds up. Like Expo was saying, he shoots 22 to keep the cost down. And there's a lot of people that like that strategy. And they say that uh, shooting is a perishable skill to some degree. You're not going to forget how to shoot. It's just there's I can definitely see when I go to the range, my groups will start out a little larger than after you kind of get warmed up, then they'll tighten up. And
Well, a sharp knife versus a rusty knife. You know what I mean? Like, there's a big
yeah,
difference. They're both knives still, but the sharp knife can get work done and be effective.
and thank you, G-Webs and Gizzard. I got the Civivi knife.
Right on. I figured. I
Um,
think I even own that one already, so winning it was not like necessary. But then I was like, oh, you know what? I own it technically, so I can do what I want with it.
yeah, it's got the jade scales, the natural as they call them, which I really do like, and I like the profile of the blade. It looks
Are you
nice.
frozen for everybody or just me?
Uh, I don't know. I'm not seeing anything, but it doesn't mean much.
My screen, you're frozen with your hands out.
Huh? Can you still hear me okay, or is it just the
Yeah,
video that's frozen?
yeah. So I don't know why, but oh, now it went to normal.
I don't know.
But it froze again.
Huh? I don't know because I did a speed check just before I started, and my speed looked good. So I'm not sure. Oh, Justin Grimm was saying I was frozen. So
Yeah.
there's seems to be some problem between me and you. Um, looks like it might be on my end, but
Audio's fine.
well, I guess that's what's important. But so thank you for that. Did you get the stickers?
Oh, I did. I was going to do a video opening it, and then just got swamped with stuff. I got sick the other day, so that took like a day out of my week, and then working on the van. Well, taking the van to a place and sitting there while they worked on it
Yeah.
was another day. So I sort of had 2 days ripped out of my planning without planning for it. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't plan. I planned to be at the place one day, not 2 days, and then it was 2 full days.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what I'm using as my excuse. So I do have it. I just haven't even opened it.
Oh, okay. Well, I won't ruin the surprise. They're designed just for you.
All right.
Uh,
Yeah, to me, the video looks just pixelated. Like now you're not frozen, but it's just, like 380 or whatever they call it, like just low quality feed or whatever. But they're saying, or Justin said, the sound's been great, but the video's been choppy.
that's kind of weird. For on my end, everything looks normal. I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe it's just the cold. All those pixels are slowing down because it's cold. Ozzy said, finally found and ordered a CZ Thursday. Now I've got to get a holster started. What kind of CZ? Which model CZ? And so DJ Seth All is out there, and X Adam 1. Uh-oh. Oh, you're back. Are you back? I'm not hearing you.
Okay.
There
I
you
just
go.
barely got audio right now. It's weird. I'm in here, and I thought you were saying something, but then the audio comes in a little bit later. Anyway, it's weird. I did a thing because now it looks like my camera does work. I don't know. But anyway, sorry. It made me refresh. I was fiddling with my browser settings. This is Chrome. I don't use Chrome normally. I don't like Google looking at my business.
Yeah.
So this browser, or this EVMAX likes or Mux likes Chrome though. So I'm just figuring out I need to change my settings in Chrome. I think when I come in here.
Yeah, I usually use either Firefox or um, on my phone. I use the what do I use? DuckDuckGo.
Yeah, I like DuckDuckGo.
It tends to be faster because it cuts out a lot of the junk that the other browsers allow to happen. So Ozzy's getting a CZP01. Nice. And X Adam 1 said, late to the mouse party. What's the topic? FYI, everything is clear to me, audio and video. I don't know. I don't really have a topic for tonight, so just kind of whatever we want to talk about, we can talk about. If you're still a member of Glacier, we should go shoot my P320 Max. Yeah, that's who I was going to cancel. I am technically still a member of Glacier. I was gonna cancel the membership just because I don't use it, and I'm paying kind of a lot. I like the place is great. The everybody that works there is great. The only reason I'm going to cancel it is because I just don't use it, and I'm paying for it. So, Vulcan Rumble said, "Shot Show 2025. Beware the $8 convention center banana." Is that a thing? $8 bananas?
It must be. I must be forgetting something or missing something, but I'm sure bananas aren't cheap there.
You know who this is, right? I'm not absolutely positive. I think I do, but I'm not sure. X-Atom 1. I filled out paperwork for my 300 Omega suppressor on Tuesday. Still waiting. Did a trust, not an individual. I'm looking forward to getting it, but heading to Nebraska tomorrow, aka later today. They are. Suppressors are fun and cool, I will say. The paperwork and all that garbage is garbage, but they do. I really like it. It's hard to describe the awesome, cool feeling you get when you shoot them. I did the individual. I did the single shot trust through Silencer Co., which I kind of wish. I know. I figured that's the only one I'm going to have, and it probably will be. I would like more if they ever come off the NFA or they get rid of the NFA. Then I will get more, but it's kind of a hassle. I did put my brother-in-law is on that. That way, if something ever happens, he can handle it, so my wife doesn't have to deal with it. But the Saint said West Coast Armory in Washington State doesn't allow SIG 320s in their ranges. State police had issues, and they train at these ranges. We used to work there. That's what I figured. I that's who I was thinking it was, but you never know for sure. Um, yeah, even if we don't go to Glacier, I belong to the Capital City Rifle and Pistol. That's where I've been going to mainly. Now we can head out there. Just send me a text. And Wood said need to do a trust for sure. I don't know. Is that something that you would ever think about? Is suppressors? Getting a suppressor?
Yeah. Well, my thing is, I know tons of people that have them, so I never kind of needed to buy them, so I don't need them that bad. And I'm same with you. I don't like the idea of the NFA at all. So, and I see an end in sight with all that, and I'm not about to buy a lifetime suppressor when I don't think that's what I want. So, suppressors today are built so that because of the laws that you're going to have to own this thing for a long time. So they overbuild the heck out of them, and it's just not. I don't think that's necessary. We've got 3D printers and all kinds of other options to create these things that can make things, like replicated printing, or what I'm saying, injection molding or something. Like you can make these things out of materials that are quick and easy to use, and I'd like to see something like rubber or plastic that they smush the plastic down into a ribbon or the rubber down into a ribbon, 3D printed into a can of some shape, and then you use it. And if it lasts 10 rounds, you just take it off and throw it into another bin, and it gets shaved down and turned into ribbon and reprinted into a can. Like I'd rather see something like that happening than, or and then something like that. You could have cans just sitting at the door when you walked into a range, and you would just grab some and shoot for a while. But or just when you go out, you could talk to people and stuff. Anyway, I think that cans can be a lot cheaper, and once they're a lot cheaper, then I'd be probably more interested in acquiring a bunch of them because by then they'll be off this NFA.
There
I don't think
is,
it can be treated as firearms. That's a dumbass
yeah.
concession people are willing to take. Like they don't need to have a 4473 for sights or magazines or anything else.
Somebody's trying to bring back the Safe Hearing Act.
Yeah, I've seen that or I heard that.
I just kind of saw the headline. I didn't read the story, but oh, that would be nice because it's ridiculous that they're on the NFA. Um, will do. How far out can I reach at your range? It's the high powered rifle is 200 yard, and the handgun bays, they're not very long. They have two lines set up to hang your targets on. I think might be 10 and 20 yards, uh, approximately. Woods, thoughts on the new braces are illegal again. I have Shockwave that had a brace factory. It's been illegal, then legal, then illegal, then legal. Now, from what I've heard, the ATF said that letter should have never been sent out. So they have recalled that letter.
Yeah, letters are for individuals, so we don't want to jump off the handle. I mean, it could be the indication of something, but I don't think it was the indication in this case. I think that a lot of people wanted attention and they need to talk about anything about guns if they can.
Well, that's kind of something that happens is if there's some nugget of maybe news, everybody wants to be first. So
not everybody. A
everybody
chunk of
jumps on
people.
it.
I think
Yeah.
there's a chunk of people that are in that like thing, and then there's a bunch of people that feed on that are like, "Oh, I can be offended." Like, we need to be offended, but we need to stay offended, not like just be offended by every new thing that comes along. So anyway, never illegal this last time, just been legal.
X Adam 1 said, yeah, nope on plastic melted suppressors.
Well, they make cartridges out of plastic, so if they can make the cartridge that doesn't stick in the chamber out of plastic, it's definitely cooled down by the time it hits the muzzle, so I'm not too worried about the melted.
I'm not sure where my box is, but I've tried some of that polymer 556, and it shoots just like 556.
Yeah, it doesn't melt or anything.
No, and you can't reload it. But other than that, I don't have a chronograph, so I didn't chronograph it. But it's supposed to be, you can get the same performance out of a little bit less powder. But to me, it seemed just like every other 556 round. I didn't notice any differences. It's more expensive, but that's just, I think, it's like any new technology. It's expensive at first, and then once people start adopting it, production increases and price goes down. So
polymer cased ammo was designed to be inexpensive when you drag billions of it to another country to wail on somebody with it, like in the shipping, not so much in the price per round. So you know what I'm saying? Like when you got to
Yeah.
drag a lot of these things around and throw them at people, then it gets expensive. So they were looking at what's that? That would be more than industry. They're looking at actual usage, use cases or whatever the word would be, versus like us buying it on the store shelves.
Telos is out there. Good evening.
But like you
You
said, that
definitely.
will get better and better. And I don't think the reloading is because now no one reloads it, but just give people a minute and they'll either figure out how to do it or they'll you know what I mean, they'll make a way to do it if they want to real bad.
You definitely feel the weight in a box of 20. And, when I picked it up to look at it, you can feel the weight difference right away. And
You know
I
how
don't
else
on
you
the
can
web
get that effect? You can get that same effect by shooting 45 ACP. You'll get stronger, and then when you go around picking up little tiny rounds, everything seems lighter.
on the website they do say, and I forget what the brand name is. They do say something to the effect of it's not reloadable by the end user, which I thought the wording was kind of interesting because it doesn't straight out say it's not reloadable. It just says that basically you don't have the equipment to reload this.
Yeah, exactly. We haven't figured that part out yet, but it's probably going to be something where at the end stage, like maybe it heats to the bullet or something. Like I have no idea, but it'll probably just be some different apparatus.
Next item one, I saw the bill about the Safe Hearing Act. They defined silencer as the tube. According to the Fat Jared, it's a slippery slope, allowing them to define it so broadly as a tube.
If you need viewers, then you've got to be suspicious of everything. But I've never been a fan of the Hearing Protection Act is interesting because it attacks the NFA without attacking the NFA, but at the same time, it's nice to have. At least back in the day when it was happening in 18 or whatever, it was happening with the uh, national reciprocity, and that was it. But at least now there's kill the NFA bills out there as well. So now
Yeah.
if it's going hand in hand with that, then I'm okay with like a multi punch strategy. But if that was our only punch, I had a problem with it.
Uh, DJ Sethall, dang, I'm zeroed at 200. I prefer to be zeroed at 500. Well, depending on what you're shooting, if it's an AR, you can be zeroed at a shorter distance and it to be zeroed at 500 because of the arc. Wood, so legal again? Yeah, probably, maybe. God only knows. DJ Sethall, I lost all my SBRs in a weird boating accident. Well, as I always say, do what you want, just keep your mouth shut. Telos, just praying SCOTUS takes up 2 band cases, but don't know if they will now. I Yeah, they didn't take they haven't taken either of the 2 that I would like to see, the mag uh, magazine capacity and the semi-auto rifle bands. Uh, I didn't know if they would. I mean, there's like one more week to see if they take it for this section. If not, it'll get pushed off till next session because they haven't taken them, but they haven't denied them. So who knows? Uh, the Saint suppressors are cool, but don't want to buy a bunch of subsonic ammo. You don't have to shoot them with subsonic. It's just to be the quietest. You need the subsonic. With supersonic, you'll still get a crack, but it'll cut off. It'll quiet it down some. Uh, with my 300 Blackout, that's what I've got my can on, and I bought the can for that rifle. I run subsonics, and it is fairly quiet. It's quiet enough you can hear everything, all the internals of the gun moving. You can hear the spring. You can hear it clanking and clicking, and um, I'd like to quiet some of that down, just because.
Well, you can take a can of spray foam and just spray it in there.
Uh,
It's like noise reduction until it's spam.
yeah, that might be a problematic. He said, DJ Sethal, anyone hear about the new titanium sponge suppressors? No, I am not familiar with what that is. He's shooting a Remington 700 in 408. Huh. Is it 408 or 308? Oh, he corrected it. 308.
Does it work now?
I'm hearing you.
Oh, my thing kicked out. That's why I jumped out, because the thing lost my microphone. Now it's hearing it again.
Oh,
I
okay.
was thinking
Yeah, you.
with the titanium sponge, like that's what I'm talking about. Imagine they figure out some way to bubble titanium through some salt mixture and it turns into a titanium sponge. And they just shake out the salt, drill a quick hole for whatever caliber you got, and jam that on the end of some, you have just like some little loudner at the end of your muzzle, and then you just jam that sponge in there, and now it's a quieter for a number of rounds. Like they're going to come up with all kinds of cool stuff. We just haven't. Like there's been no. Well, I mean, there has. Like look at um, the different kinds of processes they've applied to suppressors now. The thing is, they're allowed to. It's practical to spend a lot of technology on cans, because cans can cost $1,000 right now, right? It's
Yeah.
easy to get a can that costs hundreds of bucks. Once cans go down to however much it costs for the metal and the time it takes to make them, there might not be the same innovation, because if it's you're only going to sell a $15 can or something, or a $25 can, I don't know if it's worth it all. That
That's an interesting thought. I hadn't considered that might happen.
But with
Um,
3D, with people doing it in their basements and stuff, will in their garages, will still have cheap cans.
well, and then there's also metal printers. So
For
even
sure.
if you know, I don't have any experience with any of the printing stuff, but even if for some reason they can't get the polymers right for doing them out of the plastics, there's machines that'll print with metal. Back up here. Wood said, I haven't been impressed with SCOTUS so far. Oh, they've they're consistent, if nothing else. Yesterday's pomades out there said my quietest rifle is 4570. I don't think that's a very quiet one. And Woods, my little Heritage Roscoe, is a cool little gun. Only complaint is so much branding on the gun.
That bothers me a lot. I don't know why people like that.
I For me, it kind of depends.
They should
Uh,
offer it two styles, like with all our garbage on it and without it. It's like having a NASCAR car. Like,
yeah,
I want a car. I want a car. I don't want to have a NASCAR car.
some of them it doesn't bother me, like stuff from late '80s, early '90s, because that's kind of the style of the late '80s, early '90s. Um, so to me, it kind of fits, and so I don't mind it.
Like I said, I
Uh,
get it. I understand why people like it, but not everybody likes it, and they should offer it
yeah,
with
there's one.
subtle. There's things they have to do, but they should offer it in like subtle, and then like for the more engraved, like ultra to the max engraved.
Wood said for $300, it's cool. Telos, the metal printers are still very costly, and materials to print are costly as hell too.
Do you remember, have you been around for the fad of color filling engravings? That's every once in a couple 7 years or so. There's like a new thing where everybody takes a crayon and starts color filling everything.
I have color filled. Have a good night, DJ. Hey, it's nice seeing you. Send me a text sometime. Um,
Always good to have people chatting in the late night, overnight chat.
yeah, we used to work together. Long, long, long time ago now. Yeah, I've got some of the. You can just see the ruby red with flake in it. That's what I did the 300 blackout, and I did one with
Oh, you did
crayon.
nail polish.
Yeah, I did nail polish on one. It's the UV type, so I was hoping it would be stronger. The one you harden with UV light. And I did one of the other ones with sparkle crayon, which wasn't didn't quite come out as I'd hoped, but I was just trying something out for fun.
I liked it for like a minute because of HK, and then I was done. It was over. Because like
I
HK,
only
they always had like the infill.
yeah, I've only done I think only 2 of my ARs. I haven't done any handguns or anything like that. There is a basically well, in Minnesota. There's a proposed bill that's kind of a stand your ground bill. So hopefully that goes somewhere. It's kind of interesting. Part of it was allows you to brandish your gun to let somebody know that you will use deadly force if you need to, if you're threatened. Vulcan Rumble.
I missed the nuance there.
What's that?
I missed the nuance. What was the law?
Oh, it's basically a stand your ground law. So it defines on what deadly force is, and defines where that line is. But in the bill allows you to brandish your gun to notify.
Oh,
If you're in a self defense situation,
yeah,
you
we
can
got
brandish the
brandished
gun.
here now. So you can
Yeah,
say, I got a gun, or you can like just pull your gun out, and that's
yeah.
not illegal like it is in a lot of states. Yeah, that's cool.
Vulcan Rumble wants to know when you're heading out to SHOT Show.
So at a time before SHOT Show. I might already be there. I might be on the road right now. I'm just driving in a really quiet luxury RV that somebody else is driving. But because of OPSEC, I talk about stuff after it happened, not before.
And I think I'll show I've got some K-bar patches.
What? Where did K-bar patches come from?
K-bar. I ordered them from K-bar.
Huh. Wonder if K-bar
I
shot.
I've never
cool.
seen K-bar patches, and when I was on their website,
I don't know if I have either.
I ordered
I
some.
might have seen like a logo before, but that one's cool. What's that one about? It's an arrowhead with 2 somethings on it.
Yeah, with cross knives, and then the other one is kind of I don't know if it's a star or it's supposed to be a compass with cross knives. Oops, it says K-bar, and I got them for free.
What? What do you mean?
Yeah, I ordered something else with these for a giveaway, future giveaway, and it was discontinued and out of stock. So they said, "Sorry, it's out of stock. We apologize. we'll send you the rest of your stuff for free. So they sent me these for free.
That's a hack. We should all do that right now.
So like I said, that's it's pretty awesome of them to do. They're a U.S. company. Go K-Bar. I have always liked their knives.
Look at a bunch of K-bars right now.
I only have the one right there. That's the space bar. I had one as a kid for a short time, but
They don't call it the space bar, do they?
yeah, that's the name on the box is space bar. I did not know that until when I was doing the review and I looked at the box and saw it said space bar. It's not the best name, but it's kind of fun to say. Space bar.
It's going to be awkward to do a bracket with just two people, but I guess we're going to start.
Well, that we'll have to hold off on our bracket.
So do you blame Gizzard for this? Like, I don't know who people out there should be raging at. Like, Gizzard or the rules that you can't have a two-person bracket?
Well, I will say Gizzard had a decent excuse.
Or Barbecue. What's he doing? Sleeping?
He did text me and said he wouldn't be able to make it. So, but I told him, you don't have to justify why you couldn't make it. I just appreciate it when you can make it.
I tried doing
Yeah.
a live stream the other day when I got my new Bannerman catalog, but it doesn't seem to have gotten many views. So I guess people don't care about the Bannerman catalogs or unboxing them live.
Woods wants to know, why would Space Force need a knife? Robots? Oh, I think you could stab a robot with it. The gray coating they use on it, whatever that coating is very slick. So it would probably slide into a robot.
You probably, let's say you're fighting a large robot and you climb on the robot's back and it's going to have some kind of an access panel and now you're screwed. But if you got your space bar, you bring it up there, you jam it in the crevice and you smack on it with your one hand and then it opens right up and then you get in there and poke at those wires with that knife.
Well, no. There's in the Space Force set, there's a breacher tool. You use your breacher tool to open the access panel, and then your knife to stab around inside.
So that's what they would use it for. They're probably non-magnetic, made out of a material that the robots can't process as easily.
Yeah, that's the breacher tool is one that I keep kind of going back and forth. I'd kind of like to have it, but I don't know if I want to bother. Because there's the space bar knife. There's the breacher tool. It's a little pry bar. There's the Corsair, their folding knife. And I've had that and I gave it away. I didn't care for it. And then there's one other knife. It's kind of like I don't know if it's a neck knife. It's a small fixed blade and it's got that like 90-degree curve from the handle to the blade. Which I don't know. They look goofy to me. I don't remember what the name of it is. Oh, yeah. Vulcan Rumbles remind me. The banner. I forgot the banner. Hang on. Let me get the banner going. There we go. At the bottom of the screen is a banner with an email address, untitledfoss@gmail.com, and a link for the Discord server. A place to hang out, chit chat. It's a place that G-Webs loves to live. Laugh and love in the Discord.
Do a lot of people hang out in there?
Not a lot. Just kind of a few regulars and um, not as many as I'd like, you know. But of Open
We end up
Rumble,
using
US.
it for one of Gizzard's things, but it's like it's like a focused one for a club, I guess you could say, like a group of people. It's not just like an
Mm.
open one, but I have to use it for that, and yeah, it's still annoying just because it's just there's so much to it. But that's I don't know. I don't hang out in there. I guess I shouldn't say that. I have it open, so I guess if I knew what I was doing, I could probably hang out in one or the other. But I never click any buttons over there. I just leave it on Gizzard's one and then shut the thing, open it occasionally and see what's happening. I guess I could check out the other one once in a while. But mainly, it's a spyware. It's very intrusive. It likes to kind of pay attention to what you're doing on your computer. I don't like that kind of crap usually, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the only thing that does that. So TDI is Tactical Defense Institute, and they're the ones that came up with that kind of curved around uh, a knife that you're talking about, where it kind of looks like a boomerang shape, where
Yeah.
you hold one side and the other side's the point. But the idea there is you would put that behind your gun or along with your gun or whatever, and then if someone's trying to grab your gun, you've got something that can jab them. So it's like really a purpose built thing. And then a lot of people figured out that like kind of like inside the waistband or appendix, when you imagine carrying that kind of a knife where you don't have a straight thing that you're trying to conceal. Now you can kind of put the blade into your pocket or in your pants line, and the curvy handle on the other side of your pocket, on your waistline. Yeah, inside the waistband. Yeah, waistband. And you know what I'm saying? So anyway, it became a concealable thing, but also once you're holding it, it allows you to jab behind you. So if someone coming up behind you and grabbing your hands, this is a way that you can help. It helps you to fight them that way.
That's what I figured. It was the shape was for something I didn't understand, and that's. Um,
I
I
have a
still think.
couple of them, but it's kind of like a karambit. Like I get it, but it ain't my thing. So, but
Yeah,
you
I
can
don't
hold
care
it
for
that way
karambits
too.
either.
If you hold it with the blade out your pinky side, and now, imagine that thing where it's kind of pointed forward now in your fist.
Yeah.
And, again, it's also a get off of me knife. It's not I'm going to use this and come at you. It's I'm, you're grabbing me and I need to get you off of me. And this is, anyway, that's what its whole thing is. But yeah, K-Bar makes them for him, and they, like I say, I've probably got 3 now, I think, but unintentionally. Same with karambits. I don't like go out looking for them, but I keep finding stuff cheap, so I buy stuff when it's cheap. But I'm probably not going to keep them because I don't. I'm the same way. I don't really. It's been a long time since somebody came up and grabbed me. I had to defend myself. It's been weeks.
Oh.
Play D&D on there. How do you play D&D on there? Playing D&D on a computer. That's like double nerding it up.
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
need new MS DOS for when I roll my 20-sided dice.
Yeah, Vulcan Rumble said USAF a survival kit and to cut your parachute if you get hung up in a tree after bailing out. I don't know. Do we want to look at some? We haven't looked at the Gorn section of the Discord in a while. We'll look at some Gorn because um, Woods just put a picture in there, so let me figure out how to do that. Share that, add the screen, and I'll make it bigger. So I'm not sure where we left off last time. I meant to mark it so I would know. So I think we saw those. There's the super expensive PPK we saw at Cabela's. My Marlin, I put a Tasco scope on. The TH40, that's been my EDC lately. Kind of debating whether to switch out because I used to carry my H&K P30 and a 40, and then that became a bedside gun. And so I ended up getting the TH40 as a carry gun to replace it. But I've been wondering, should I switch those? Should I start carrying the P30 and use the TH40 as the home defense gun? The one problem is it's only 10 rounds because bullshit mag limits in Washington.
Oh man.
So I'm
All right,
leaning towards.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm leaning towards keeping this as a carry gun because I'd rather have the more rounds per magazine for home defense.
So I forgot that you have a mag capacity thing, or I guess I knew that you had it, but I didn't
Yeah,
realize that applies to pistols. I guess. So and that's that you can own what you own, but you can't buy anymore.
yeah. They
What do you
grandfathered in everything you already had.
what do you think of the Keltec with the stripper clips from the top that they just announced a minute ago?
Uh, it didn't blow my skirt up.
Is that a good thing? It would be a good
Uh,
thing, right? It didn't make you people look at your business.
no, it. I was not enthused by it. I mean, I
Oh,
don't. I'm not saying I don't think it should exist. It's just I'm not. Doesn't interest me.
would that be an issue for Washington State because you don't have mag capacity? So now you can have that thing with 30 rounds.
I don't know. That's interesting thought. Um,
Oh, Tony was saying that he thinks. Well, he wasn't saying this, but he was implying that if it was made to comply with laws, then it doesn't affect New Jersey where he's at because theirs says capacity. It doesn't say capacity of the magazine. So
oh,
they made their laws. It doesn't really matter about the magazine. But if your laws does or do specifically say magazine, then a gun with no magazine. Because that's the other thing is I think the reason that's an issue what Tony's talking about is because they didn't ever include belt fed when they first made the magazine capacity laws. Or magazine laws. So they'd say you can't have a magazine with over 20 rounds, thinking that's all there was to it. They clap their hands and walk away. But then all the people at belt fed were like, haha, dumbasses. And then they're like, oh crap, now you can't have capacity higher than 10, period. Or, I don't know how it went down, but that seems like the kind of shit they would do.
I don't know. I don't know. Um, but so I'm with the 40s. I'm not sure if I should switch them or just keep it with what I'm doing now, or just buy larger magazines and keep my mouth shut. Um, and there was Larry with his granddad's Ithaca, which is a very pretty gun, I think, and kicks like a mule. Edgar Marco was asking, how's your 10 millimeter Tanfoglio holding up? I traded it in. I had some problems with it, and it was during COVID. So getting the recoil spring broke, And I contacted them, and they said, well, they can't. They're having trouble getting parts. They'll send me one. Well, when they get them in, and it was 8 months, maybe more, and then they did send one, and I did not like the letter they sent with it. Kind of irked me, and I was kind of frustrated with the gun in general, so I traded it in and ended up getting a CZ 75 compact to replace it.
What do you mean the letter they sent you?
Well, it was a letter saying, well, we're doing this this is the only one we're going to give you. We're doing it as a, can't remember the wording exactly, but basically, like, we're doing you a favor. Here's your spring. We're not going to replace it again. It's like, all right, screw you. Your gun broke. I didn't break it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I hear that.
So I won't buy another Witness. That's why I won't buy a Gerson. I won't deal with that company again. I'm sure they don't care, but just for me personally, I won't deal with them. It was great. It was a great gun until it stopped being great. And now it's a CZ75. And then I bought the Glock 20 to replace it 10 millimeter wise, and have never had a problem with it. And then the Beretta APX A1 carry, and I got the SIG 0 to put on it. I bought the gun because I had bought the sight and I needed a gun to put it on. So Shafty, doing some AK action.
What is that? Oh,
He said he got to play with these last weekend. Tiger 2 Dragunov and HK 416. My 2 Kimbers.
the Bobby, they got different sights.
No, because one's optic cut. The one with suppressor height is optic cut. I bought that because I had bought an optic and then I needed a gun to put it on, so I bought another Kimber. And there's a version with a threaded barrel. I think that's why they put the suppressor height on all of them, all the optic cut ones. The Kimber Custom LW Shadow Ghost, I think is the full name, in 45 ACP. And then there's on Instagram, there's a channel I follow, Pink Gun Club, and so they do coatings like this. I think this is just an AI generated picture. So I don't know if they're real or they're a scam, but I like the picture.
Wait, are you sharing a picture? I'm only seeing the two.
Yeah, I was. Well, I just kind of clicking on.
I'm only seeing Barron's rifle and your 2 Kimbers.
Huh. So am I frozen up again? Because I've been kind of scrolling down.
Oh, really? I'm seeing the scroll at the bottom going left and right still, but to me it's still on the 2 Kimbers and the rifle.
Huh. It's kind of weird. I'm not sure what's going on because it looks like looking at my signal strength looks okay.
Where's the signal strength at?
Well, I see them in where you see where everybody is at the bottom. I can see signal strengths for everybody. For me, I've got good signal strength. You've got full signal, and for the screen share, it's low. So maybe there's a problem in
Oh,
there.
I see some little blue things. Okay.
So hopefully it's looking okay for everybody else. I don't know. I'll just keep showing and hopefully. Then my Kimber with the Liberty Justice. It's the Gen 1, so they were on sale. I'm still getting used to using a red dot. I'm not used to them. I'm more comfortable with the iron sights. Um, I think I just need to use the red dots more to get used to them, because when you bring it up, sometimes you have to find that red dot. Because if you're not aligned, then the red dot's not there. You got to get used to presenting in the way where the red dot's where it's supposed to be. It's
Yeah, it's using your gun a whole different way.
yeah. So it's a training issue. It's not the
Yeah,
red dot
it's a
problem.
redoing your whole like operation of the gun, remanipulation.
But I'm not intending to use the red dots for EDC or anything. They're just kind of cool. So, and then this engraved Kimber, has the picture caught up yet, or is it still frozen?
For me, it's still a rifle, but I don't know. Nobody's saying anything, so it might just be on my side.
I don't know.
Try like not sharing that screen and then sharing the screen again,
Okay, let me close this and then I'll open it back up.
because this thing is probably not going from your machine to the world. It's going from your machine to their server, so it could be on their side just as easy as your side. In
Yeah.
fact, it makes more sense that it'd be on their side. Let me see.
Yeah, Justin said frozen, and what's the no pixel here? Let me bring it back up.
Now I see a
Uh,
different picture.
so that's an engraved Kimber. I think that was the Kimber. Um, I forget how much this was. Real expensive, but I just thought it was kind of cool looking. There's an eagle in there, a bunch of swirls, some stars.
You seen? Is it Sig that makes those crazy custom shop ones?
Probably.
I think Sig makes these crazy custom shop 1911s. That looks like more than engraving. That looks like casting with eagles and shit like sticking out of the frame, right?
Yeah, it looks like pretty deep in there, so that could be. And then this is more from the Pink Gun Club. I think this is also like a mock-up. I don't think
Yeah, that's
it's a real
AI.
thing. Yeah, but the Hello Kitties. And then Woods, Taurus. Leather holster.
You seen that Smith and Wesson's making a model without the Hillary hole now?
I heard. I haven't seen pictures of it, but
It just looks like
some heard somebody talking about it.
it comes in a cigar box. I thought that was a cigar box at first.
Kind of looks like it. Uh, Wood said it's H frame size.
It's like the 8-shot.
Oh, J frame.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say I don't know what H frame is.
There's a whole bunch of different sizes. Isn't there an H frame?
I don't know. I only know J frame, K frame, L frame. They're like an M or N.
Dang, I can't find the mute ever. I think I tried one time to have somebody explain it to me, and then I lost it, so I didn't retain it.
Wood said he already had the holster. I did order a couple P320 frames. I think I'm going to order the FCU, the fire control unit, and build up a 320.
Oh, you bought the frames without having the gun?
Yeah. I ordered two different frames. One's I think I ordered an X carry, and then the other's the X10 compact carry comp. I think it is, which turns out might have been a mistake because I can't find any other parts. There's no barrels. I don't know if it's because the model. I think the model came out last year, 23. So people aren't making parts for it yet. So I might have to order another frame. But I don't know, just something
Sells
to do.
the frame. SIG sells the frame, or some company sells the frame?
One is a Wilson Combat, and one is, I forget what the other company's name is, but they're at SHOT Show. They had a notice on their website saying they're out of town, they're at SHOT Show, so the orders will be sent out when they get back.
And that's the one that doesn't make any parts for it?
Yeah. So I'll probably, whatever frame I don't use, I'll maybe give them away. Future giveaways. I don't know. If people are interested in SIG frames as a giveaway prize. I don't. Oh, I kind of want to do it just to do it. Something that I haven't done before. It's striker fired, so I'm not a striker fired kind of guy. I do love my Glock. Is that the only striker fired I have? Oh no, the APX A1 carry striker fired, but I got it really cheap, and I got it to put an optic on it. I think those are the only striker fired. Everything else I have is hammer fired. I prefer hammers. Oh, there's lots of stuff I want. I just don't. I'm not rich enough to buy it all. I still want Smith & Wesson 500 or 454 Casull, just because they're big and loud and just because. But they're out of my price range, so I'd have to save up for quite a while, and I'm really bad at saving up. I'll save up for a little while, and then it'll be enough to buy something else, which is right in front of me, and I'll end up buying that thing that's right in front of me.
I've been saying lately that when do you stop? When you get your first safe full, and you get your second safe, and then you fill that one, and you get your third safe, and you fill that one. Like at some point, you fill your garage or your room that you have your safes in. You buy a new house, at some point, it's just impractical to have more. And I'm only saying that because some of us that grew up with them, and then you get them for gifts, and you get them, you keep buying them like you do, and then but your taste change. So you get into hunting, you buy different guns for that. You get into any kind of sport, you get into that. Get into reloading or something, you're going to buy guns that let you play with that aspect of it. So at some point I've got, like, I think of my, like, once, what do we do? Somebody was having a chat fairly recently asking about first guns. Like, I don't have my first gun, but my oldest gun is some gun I had when I was a kid. I mean, I own it, but I could care less about shooting that gun. You know what I mean? Like, there's some guns that you're gonna buy for some reason, and then be like, oh, that was, I've scratched that itch. Moving on. Well, when you buy guns like that, I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying when you buy guns like that, uh, you don't really go back to them all that often. So I think that's a factor that whenever I figured that out, I was like, I don't need to own these anymore. I can, enjoy them at the range or look at somebody else's, or especially when you've got friends that buy stuff, you don't have to buy everything. But that's when I got out of the like acquiring mode and mindset. Plus, it doesn't help or it doesn't hurt to. I wasn't working at a gun shop anymore. When you're working at a gun shop, it doesn't lend itself to not buying guns because they
Done.
happen. You're just minding your business, and then like a super good deal comes along. It's just
Yeah.
business to not take advantage of a good opportunity when it comes along.
I definitely understand where you're coming from there. I um, I kind of started realizing that when I had misplaced a gun, but didn't know that I had misplaced it until one day I went to go grab it and realized it's not in the safe where it's supposed to be. And then realized, well, I don't have a lot. I have friends that have much more than me, but it was enough where there's guns that I'm not looking at or touching that I didn't realize wasn't there.
Right, they're
Um,
like out of your scope or whatever, and it's not like you don't
yeah,
want it or nothing. It's just that, yeah, there's just too many to juggle, right? Like too much going on. And I mean, I'm doing
and
the same thing with knives. I mean, I went to resort them because I get Civivis. It's different because we get them, but the like my Civivi pile was falling over, and I'm like, okay, I got to reorganize here, and I got like a whole giant. Anyway, I got too many knives, but I don't think it's such a bad deal with knives because they're $50 ish, where guns are $500 ish. So the amount of effort you take to get them and investment in them, I think is a little more justifiable with knives because of the scale. But I mean, it's definitely the same thing. I'm never going to use any of these knives. I've got a couple of knives that I use, and then the other ones I just own because I like the knife. Like, that's the only reason I own it, is I think it's cool, and I figured, okay, I want to have it next to this other one once in a while when I look at them. But there's no
yeah,
need piles of them. I got.
I've thought about selling off some because that would allow me to buy something else. But I I'm really bad about I don't sell stuff.
Well, and that
Uh,
does mess with you because now you want to go shoot a shotgun. You ain't got no shotguns left because you sold it because you wanted to buy a 22. Like, it just doesn't work with guns.
yeah,
Like, you can go, oh, I don't need this shape of knife. I got that shape of knife. Or I don't need this type of material blade. I got this kind of material blade. But a shotgun and a 22 are different. A revolver and a bolt action are different. Like, they do different things.
Justin said get a 460. Can shoot a whole bunch of rounds. I've kind of considered that Hillbilly was one that kind of put that bug in my ear. I kind of like the way um, the Taurus Raging Hunter, the two tone 460. I kind of like the way it looks, but I don't know because that's I still want some large caliber, some ridiculously large caliber handgun, revolver. I don't have a lever gun. I want a lever gun. Um, and
I find it hard to live in the West without owning a lever gun. That was my first gun, as a lever gun, so I can say I've always owned a lever gun. I was born and I was given a lever gun. But for people that haven't made the decision yet, come on.
Fine Ape is out there. Good evening, Ape. Nice to see you. Yeah, I want probably a 44 Magnum lever gun. I want a 4570. also, but I want the 44 because that'll go with my single action Ruger. Then I kind of
Well,
have a
I got
set.
a 30-30 because that's what you're supposed to get. And then what about a 44-40? Because that's the original handgun rifle or carbine revolver combo. That's the when they first started doing
Justin
that.
said, "Man, late to the game. Levers are really expensive now." Yes, I know. Um, I kind of like the look of the Smith and Wesson. Um, I I was looking at the Marlins, and I kind of like the look of the Smith and Wessons. The
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 look
one
is
with the
like the
walnut.
last thing. It's all about the lever, like how it operates. How many levers have you fiddled with?
None. I've never shot a lever gun.
Well, I mean, in a store, you've never fiddled with one.
Nope. Never touched one.
So it's all about the throw. So when you use the lever, right, like the fulcrum, what is it, the pivot, the fulcrum, whatever the part of the
Yeah.
lever is where it's pivoting on, that ain't the same. Like some of them, it's right in front of the oval. Some of them, it's way the fuck in front. Like some of them, it ain't had the lever is way back over here, like a BB gun. You ever seen those like one BB guns where the lever's way back over here, but the whole bottom of the gun comes out? Like some of them are crazy weird, and they're all doing the same thing. They're kind of creating a cam and giving you leverage. And some of the original ones were like butter, but that's because they're super old and like they knew what they were doing. They spent time engineering these things. Nowadays, I think they start with what it looks like, and then they go backwards. It seems like because man, I've had some that were just crunchy as hell. Like they just were hard to move. And I've when I was playing around at gun shows and stuff a couple of times now. This is why I'm different about levers than when I was a kid. But when I grew up, you could just open a lever gun. But I've had a couple that were so sticky or tough or whatever, like not didn't open well, that you almost break your hand when you're like, you yank your arm and your poor fingers are in this lever, and if it ain't opening, I guess who's the one? Somebody makes one with a lock on it, and it'd be the same thing if you left it locked and then tried to swing it open. Like you're just making your knuckles suffer. It's like some kind of torture trap. And then some of them, the levers itself aren't made well. Like they're angular and bulky, and it's like a knuckle smasher or a knuckle torture device when you. So anyway, they're the look of them is the last or one of the last things on my list compared to how that lever is going to work. Oh, the main one, the easiest one to compare is watch the shotgun in Terminator 2.
Yeah.
That thing in real life is like impossible to describe how annoying that thing is to actually operate. And in the movie, I think they messed with it to make it seem less obnoxious because there was no way he was going to do that twirl thing with it in real life. Like that thing it's one of those ones where it's like a ladle, like you're pulling the lever over here, but the pivot is way over there. Anyway, they're uh, they're not all created equal. It's not like a slide on a pistol where they're pretty much all the same. Well, actually, if you think about slides on pistols. Some of them are like butter, right? Some of them are a real bear. Some of them you have to have a really strong hand to be able to like get onto that slide. And then some of them the slides are all melted and smooth. Some of them the slides are uh, what do they call those? They have the what do you call the vertical cuts? Why can't I think of it? But they put the engravings in there so that they make them real easy to slide, or
Yeah.
real a lot of traction. So anyway, there's levers are the same way. Like some of them are super easy, some of them are super comfortable, and that's why I like Winchesters. Is I would guess what I'm getting down to it is Winchesters. Or at least maybe it's because I grew up with Winchesters, but maybe it's because he invented the whole thing, and everybody else was like, "Well, I like the look of that gun. Let me make one." Like, oh, big deal. Mine breaks your knuckles a little bit. Big deal. People just learn not to break their knuckles when they use it.
Fine Ape said go 454. 460 is almost unattainable unless you start rolling your own. Woods. I've liked my Rossi 92 and 357. It's good, not great.
Safety. Yeah, the Rossies and whatever. I think I had a Rossi. What's the other one? I either had a Bert, something with a B. Not Ursa. Who's from South America with a B?
Uh, oh,
Brazil? Maybe I'm thinking of Brazil. That
wow,
would
I
be
can't
Torres.
like
Wasn't Torres.
brassy. Be
Something like that.
yeah.
But um um uh anyway, whatever I had when I was a kid, I really liked it because it was a 357 lever. Wait, do I still own that?
Yeah.
I don't know if I own it anymore or not. But I had a 350. I don't think I do. Do I? No, I don't remember selling it. Is the thing. It might be a victim of it's in the back of my safe and I haven't even looked at it in forever. I don't even know if I own it anymore. Holy crap! If I had to go on the court on this jury stand or whatever to say if I own this 357 right now, I think I sold it. But anyway, it might have been a Rossi. I might just be thinking a Rossi. But it's a perfect example of it's nothing wrong with it. It's just that because everything's so sharp, it's like everything is so sharp and not rounded that it's just uncomfortable. But it works and everything. It's just a little stiff and it's never going to get. I don't think I own it. I think I sold my 357s and sold it. But anyway, and because it had a safety on the uh, right by the rear sight, and that drives me insane having a safety on the lever action. Like, what are you going to accidentally? Oh, I accidentally levered my gun, like and got a chamber in there, like, I accidentally pulled the hammer all the way back. It's like putting a safety on a single action revolver. It makes no sense. Like, oh, I've pulled the hammer back on my single action revolver, but now I need to take a break. I need to put a safety on, put the gun down, and walk away or something. Like, come on. But I think I might have gotten rid of it. But anyway, and because again, it's not like a, I don't know. Have you ever seen like a real set of brass knuckles that somebody's carried around versus like the paperweights you can buy at like the paperweights you
Yeah.
buy at a gun show? Like, it's that kind of difference. The the Winchesters just are rounded everywhere you need it to be rounded, and uh, the pieces that fit together. Like, if a piece of sand got in there, it wouldn't stop the gun from working. This piece of sand would just fall right back out. And with the Rossi, it's like a piece of sand would get jammed in there because everything's cut so tight. You'd have to like yank on the gun to get the sand. You know, you'd have to crush the sand to get it out of there.
Fine Ape said Arnold did mess up his hand trying to twirl cock one of the unmodified guns.
Oh, I might have seen that in the things or something. That's why I was saying that maybe.
And Woods said Brastec.
No, I think I'm thinking Rossi, and for some reason I'm just turning that into a B. Or thinking Brazil and Rossi at the same time.
Oh.
But there is somebody else there's another South American company that makes a revolver. Or, I mean, makes a lever action that has a safety on it.
Oh, I think Baron suggested Uberti. So I think it was
Well, that's
Uberti.
different. That's Italian, right? And they're
Yeah.
just clones of Colts, so that's a little bit different.
He said it was. He said I think he said his Winchester was the smoothest, but the Uberti was close. I think it was Uberti.
Oh, and then that's something else that I never played with too much because I don't do that. But cowboy action shooters are a whole different level. Like, they understand historic value and they like things to look historic, but they also want to win. So they will
Yeah, I
more
know they
than
modify heavily to like short
yeah,
stroke and
yeah. So they'll make stuff super smooth and super nice. And I've seen them shoot, so I'm assuming it's like having a hair trigger or something like that. Their guns must be super easy to shoot. But I don't think I've ever really fiddled with one. I've never had one. I've fiddled with the guns that they will modify, like, the new ones when they came through the store, but I've never seen like an actual modified one come through the store where I had a chance to fiddle with it.
Fine Ape said from your description sounds like description of the safety. It sounds like a Rossi.
A Puma, though, could have been a
Yeah.
Puma. Although I don't know if I ever owned a Puma. I might be thinking a Puma, but it was I only owned a 357, a little black one, like black wood. I don't think it was ebony, but it looked kind of like ebony wood. And I had the normal loop. as much as I like the big loops, or I mean, I like the look of the big loop. The big loop is the opposite. When it's a big sloppy loop, it's just as bad as having a poorly made loop, in my opinion. I like the regular Winchester. You know what? It is probably from growing up as a BB gun. It has nothing to do with the Winchester. It's just from growing up with Red Riders. That I like how my hand fits in a Red Rider or whatever.
My granddad had one. I don't know if it was a Red Rider, but it was a lever action BB gun, and I went to cock it, and thinking like the you see on the TV, and oh my God, no, the BB gun is completely different. It hurt my hand trying to
Yeah,
pump it open.
yeah, like ripped all your knuckles off.
Yeah. Oh. Well, Mr. G Webs, uh, is there anything you're looking forward to at SHOT Show, or are you just gonna take it as it comes?
I mean, like as far as like a thing or whatever, I don't think I've heard of anything that I'm like running over to look at. It'll be an interesting year because whenever it's a year of transition with political parties or whatever, that can be interesting or it has been interesting, I guess. And then with the last couple of years because of the COVID bullshit, and they stopped one or they didn't do one. Then it all came back. That year that it came back would have been 21, I guess. Like that was really, 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 really good. And it's hard to explain why. When you go to a place, I don't know. Like if I'm trying to think, like if maybe everybody's gone to school before. So like let's say you're going to school, but then one day like just half the people don't show up because they're sick or something, or they don't show up for some other reason, and then so like only 2/3 of the people are there, even if it was a random set of 2/3, so it's not like just your friends are there or something like, but just random. You take a lot of people away from an event like that you've done over and over, and it just makes it so much more peaceful or enjoyable because they're not bumping into you. Like normally you walk around SHOT Show, you're going to bump into somebody at some point, and I'm sure if you're in a hurry, you're going to bump into a whole bunch of people because it's just crowded. Like no matter where you're at, there's people around. So if you take a third of the people away, it might just be better because there's not that many people there and people have a minute to talk and breathe and stuff. Or it was is it a camaraderie? What do you call it? Like when a bunch of people show up at a thing and they kind of look. I don't know if you've been to a place where like you decided, I don't know if I want to go or not. Maybe I should go, maybe I shouldn't. You go to a thing and then you go and you look around and like everybody else made that same decision. You kind of all have that same bond, I guess, maybe.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like that. Like everybody was like, remember the year before they said, we're not going to do it because we're scared. And then that year they're like, we're going to do it. If you remember that, everybody was like, I'm not going because they're going to make you wear a mask, or I'm not going because it's SHOT Show ain't cool no more. I'm not going because I didn't get invited or whatever, right? But a bunch of people are saying they're not going. So the people that did go kind of took a leap of faith that like, I hope somebody's there. And when only 2/3 of the people showed up, it was kind of like, oh, okay, you're all cool. Like you showed up also. Like you weren't scared to show up, or like you didn't think you're better than this, or whatever the things were that people were saying. So everybody kind of had that bond, I guess. And I don't know if that, it's unspoken, but it's just sort of like, that these people all put forth an effort in a time of when you could no one would have given you shit if you didn't go. Like nobody ever gives you shit if you don't go to SHOT. Who cares if you go to SHOT or not, right? But if you go and there was no guarantee that it was going to be a success, I guess, like there was something about it. So anyway, I think because I've experienced that now a couple of times over the years, and I can't put them unless I sat here thinking about it, I wouldn't be able to put it into words, but that kind of difference in the show has happened a couple of times over the years. I'm really I'm looking forward to see if it happens. I can't know if it's going to happen. I don't really care if it happens. I mean, it's either going to happen or it's not. But I think the something about the win makes me think that it could happen this year. This could be a really, really cool year. And I guess the opposite, or the alternative to that is it's just a lame year or whatever, just like a normal year. I don't think it's going to be a bad year though. So I guess if you're talking about it, what I'm interested in, just to see if it turns out like that. I guess like if it turns out to be a just kind of a special year or not. It's 25. It's my 20th year. That doesn't mean shit to anybody else, but being just a cool numbered year, and with the new president and all that, typically when there's don't feel under attack, the industry is a little weird. It's not happy like you'd think, because they're not happy when it's like, let's say Clinton would have won at some point. They would have been like, dang it, Clinton won. But they would also have been like, let's do business, because everybody's making money, right? Like there's just so much money. And there's a couple of people who are happy that they're making money because they engineered themselves to make money like that. But the rest of them are like, well, we make guns and everyone wants guns, so we're making money, but we'd kind of rather not be making money. And that's sort of like what this year is, right? Like they want to make money all the time, but nobody's afraid of buying anything right now. So it's not like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm talking in circles or not, but like there's this potential feeling at the show that like, okay, we're not at risk, right? And then it'll take a year or two before they go, okay, we're not at risk. Nobody's scared. So nobody's buying guns. What are we going to do? We're all going to run out of money. Like we're all going to. So everybody had just been making money, and now they're kind of not at risk, or not, looking at extinction. So I don't know. It could be a party year. It could just be a year of like, like our burden is off, or maybe it'll just be a year of getting to work. Like I don't know. And I definitely don't pay attention to YouTube as much as I used to. So I used to have a different finger on it based on how many people from YouTube were paying attention to it. And I don't know where that is anymore. Like I quit really paying attention to how many YouTubers and where their like lead alliances, or was that the word, like preferences for SHOT Show. I don't know if you pay attention, but over the years, but there'll be people like I pretty much always go to SHOT Show. I guess I like it. I don't have a problem with it. I'm not expecting too much out of it. Some people will, uh, have some unrealistic expectation, go there, have their dreams discouraged, and then for the rest of the time, SHOT Show sucks. And other people go there and the opposite, you know what I mean? And then everything in between. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it's like this year with everybody. Like, are the big YouTubers going to SHOT Show? Are they talking about it? Usually, when the big ones aren't going, they either won't talk about it at all, or they'll talk shit about it. Like, the reason I don't go is because it's not cool anymore, And then a bunch of people are like, "Oh, SHOT Show, it's not even cool anymore."
Fine Ape was asking, do the medium to big manufacturers even announce new things at SHOT Show at SHOT anymore? It seems like if they have something new, they just announce it right away, i.e. Hornady and their ARC cartridges.
Yeah, I heard that Surefire's making a gun. So yeah, they're definitely say stuff at SHOT Show still. I mean, the YouTubers have their like awareness of SHOT Show, and then there's the industry, and you know what I mean. Like the industry still happens. What YouTubers are aware of and what they point their cameras at, what we find out about, is a function of what they pay attention to. But I think the industry in the whole, like with the magazines and the television shows and stuff, they still have to use SHOT Show, because those magazines will come out months from now, and there's only a couple of big events for magazines. I don't think there's anything really for TV. SHOT Show, we don't really talk about it ever, because we're always talking about people with cameras in their hands. But when you're talking about TV shows, like with all their, imagine the television show or cable TV show or whatever they're called now. But the production stuff they're going to have, like 12 people with all the different equipment, they really can only do that at SHOT Show. They can't. I don't know if anybody's been to NRA show. Do TV channels show up at SHOT Show, at NRA show? They might show up and like show the crowd, but they're not showing up to film booth reviews. And they will do that at SHOT Show. Like they'll close off a booth for half an hour, and some TV show will film their segment there. That really only happens at SHOT Show. So the industry itself, I think, needs SHOT Show, because it's the only industry event to this scale. There's a
Uh,
couple others, but they're way smaller.
Fine Ape also brings the Smith & Wesson metal frame M&Ps. When I heard about those, I was kind of interested. I have the 380 M&P, but M&Ps in general don't interest me. And when I heard about the metal frame, it's like, oh, that sounds a little more interesting. Until I saw the price, they're like $800-900. Like, no, not for an M&P. No, thank you.
They're made of cast iron,
I don't know, but
cast aluminum.
uh, I just thought of something else to mention.
Not the steel frames or something else.
No, I don't know. I lost the thought. Pineapple also said, just be careful. Lever guns tend to multiply when you buy your first. I do have that kind of personality where when I get one thing that I like, I want all the things that are like that thing that I
Well, you
like.
don't like 22, huh? 22 lever guns is a whole nother level of fun.
I 22 just doesn't do it for me. I've got my Marlin, which I do like that, but I need to take apart because it's basically a uh, bolt gun right now because it doesn't cycle. So I got to take it apart and then see what's wrong with it. I just haven't wanted to take it apart. But no, I just have not been able, never gotten into 22.
Because you guys, you're talking about like the throw, when a function of the lever on a lever action gun will be the length of the cartridge, because that's really
Yeah.
what you're moving, right? So a little tiny 22 is super fast. It's like they're super fun, and they don't weigh nothing. They don't hold enough. I think Ruger makes one with a 1022 mag or something. That would be super fun. But it's a 1022 lever action, and it's not good lever action. As far as lever actions go, it's not fast or anything, from what I remember. Well, I'm thinking of one from the 80s, so if they made a new one, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I did for a long time wanted a Calico just because the funky look of it. But
Luckily, I shot them and played enough with them that I don't have any interest in one anymore. Except for if I was super rich and I just could own guns just to own them and have one on the wall to be like, that's the helical mag. Mainly because the magazine's so cool. But I'd rather have that helical mag underneath an AK. You seen the Bisons? I think that's a Bison if I remember right.
I'm not
So
familiar.
take the Calico mag, put it underneath the hand grip on an AK, and now I think it's stupid 9mm, but now it's a 100 round 9mm, but it's an AK. Well, it's a crank, so it's got like a folding stock and everything. But instead of having a magazine sticking out the bottom, it's got that helical mag where the handguard would be on a normal AK. But
Oh, there were a
that's
bunch of AKs in today's intro. It
oh, I missed the intro. I guess I was waking up.
was kind of an '80s jungle action.
Did you get a video AI now or something?
No, it's still pictures. The LTX, which we looked at the other day, um, when you hit your limit, it cuts off. So it would allow me to work with what I already had, but I couldn't compute anything more.
Until you pay or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I think it'll reset next month. So I just kind of put it down for now, and then I'll play with it more next month. I don't the whole computing seconds. I probably will never pay for it because of that. If it was like the other AI programs where it just slowed down, I'm fine with taking a long time. Uh, but that hard cutoff, I did. Yeah, still just
I think
playing
that's
with it.
something we're going to encounter because of the kind of how much processing power it sounds like these things take.
Yeah.
That they probably aren't going to be able to afford to be able to do the slower thing. I think it's we're living right now in AI. Remember when we're living in the times of free because they're using us to learn? So do you remember like the captchas, and
Yeah.
then what was that other thing? It was something else that like they gave us for free for a long time. Oh, the just the voice recognition on our phones and stuff, like being able to talk on the phones and everything. being able to use text to speech on our phones, like that. I mean, that used to be shitty, and then that got to where it's amazingly good, and that's because they gave it to everybody instead of charging for it, and then let the AI start to learn. And I think that's what they're doing now is they're looking at what we're playing with, what we're asking for, so that they can make the next AIs better or whatever.
Yeah, the voice commands and text to speech is something I've never used and won't use. I'm not going to talk to my machines.
Oh, really? You don't use text to speech?
No, I
Oh, wow.
refuse.
I've been doing it since the olden days of like you'd have to sit down for 45 minutes and talk to your computer so that it learned how your voice went and stuff. But yeah, I mean, when I'm in the phone or something and I'm walking around, or I would never text and drive. But if you're doing something where you're distracted and you want to text, you just hit that little microphone and talk to your phone. But yeah,
Nope.
it's definitely all of that is going straight to China and being used to educate the next generation of Chinese combat troops with all of our intimate knowledge and details.
Uh, Fine Ape said, I mean, a short. Hang on, there we go. A short 22 shorts out of a lever or tube fed bolt gun will put a smile on your face.
Yep. Because you can put like so many more down a tube mag than like longs.
Oh, well, is there anything you want to plug, or
No,
are you
thanks.
going to do any lives from SHOT Show?
Um, I would like to, but I don't want to guarantee nothing because who knows what's happening up there and whatnot. So I don't have enough of a support crew or nothing this year to have made plans for that or anything. So we'll see what happens. It's a year. This year is a year where everybody I know at least has already booked every single minute of the time they're going to be up there. Like I don't think I know any except for me. I don't know anybody that just goes up there. And well, the people on my crew, I should say, people you don't know, the people that go up with me, we don't do nothing anymore. We just walk around and we enjoy the show, and we don't have like an agenda. We're not trying to make money up there. I was just thinking about it. This year is probably the first year where I'm just going, where I'm just paying to go like a vacation, because I've always gone with Patreon, or well, it was pretty much always Patreon, but essentially membership that sent me. And it's not like I was ever making money doing it. It was doing it on the cheap. I go up there for less than $1,000. I think most people are spending more than that. But uh, I always gone up as like, the person who's going and to talk about the show or to do stuff. But I'm not really doing anything like that this year, and I definitely don't get paid by the industry to go. So I mean, I've never done that. So anyway, I'm just thinking that, or back in the day, I would pay to go, but then I guess I was thinking that I'd making YouTube
Yeah.
videos would be pay in the long run. It was worth my time to go up there, and then, um, but anyway, so this is my first year going up without any obligation, or I should say, or like any um, agenda to cover anything. So I'm just going to go up and cover the show again, like I normally do, but just in a little bit slightly different. I don't know what to call that. Like, anyway, so
Fine Ape said, all the Chinese AI is learning from me is kit, play, drive angrily playlist. Yeah,
well,
I guess from
playing is
me, the AI is getting a white mouse and sunglasses and leather jacket, looking cool. So I'm not sure how they can weaponize that.
what do you think about the TikTok?
Oh, I don't know. I'm kind of a little bit torn. Um, I'm not. I don't. I don't do TikTok because it's a Chi-Com company.
Well, I don't do TikTok because of that, but also TikTok is stupid. I mean, I guess I do TikTok now, but for work, like I don't do it for real. But it's so stupid. Like it's just a dumb premise, I guess, like to distract everybody for moments at a time in literally a thing that everyone knows is addictive. It's like watching people smoke cigarettes or something. I mean, I'm not saying I'm above anybody. I smoked cigarettes for a long time too, but it is a scam. Like you pay for something that's not good for you, that's addictive, that makes it so you don't want to stop paying for the things
Yeah.
that's not good for you. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not good to have like the attention span of a squirrel or of a goldfish or whatever they say. And then you watch a thing that has like, it's literally geared to be moments long, and they engineer like nothing about. I mean, I hope no one thinks none of this stuff is accidental. Like there's these people put full-time effort, especially these little kids that seem like, oh, I'm just a little kid being clever every single day. You're not. You're like paying teams of people to figure out clever things for you to do that are like right ahead of the trends and stuff. Like this stuff is so engineered for like
I've
17-second
heard.
things. People are
I
making
I
like, I
don't know if
know,
it's true,
let's just say
but
we know people making $30,000 a month on TikTok. It's insane.
I've heard that TikTok will push the garbage in the U.S., but in China, it basically pushes the educational stuff.
Oh, that was an interesting thing too. I've never heard anything except like that concept for a while. But yeah, they would be like, yeah, over here it's like frivolous dances and bleach challenges, or that thing where it was like try to stack a bunch of milk crates and climb up it without, not fall over or break your legs and shit. And then over in China, it would be like this kid's winning a spelling contest, or this kid made a new robot out of spare parts, or this kid figured out a way to recycle for his whole neighborhood. And imagine if there was a platform, well, that would have been called propaganda, and everyone would lash out against it because that's kind of like the 50s, right?
Yeah, but I don't know if that's true or not. I can see that, but I can see banning it, uh, like military saying no, you don't use this. But for civilians, I kind of don't like the ban. I personally, I don't use it, won't touch it, but it's freedom of choice.
Oh, you just came back from being frozen. We heard you fine, I think, but I just went and checked my regular browser to see if like the YouTube, and yeah, it was frozen. But yeah, I agree. Like we should be able to put poison. We should be able to smoke. Like there shouldn't be like cigarettes shouldn't be illegal. Um, but I'm not saying, but I agree with you 100%. I don't think it should be banned. It's stupid to ban something because I'm so afraid the Chinese government using an app against us. We have to ban it. It just seems weak and stupid. It
And
doesn't
I don't know
serve
what the
business.
argument was before the Supreme Court, and I was very surprised to see a unanimous decision. But
Yeah,
I
that
don't know
seems
how
so
it was
stupid.
argued.
Also,
So
that seems the more stupid. But that's where it's difficult for people to. Well, there's no reason to have faith in those idiots who are supposed to be representing us when they do dumbass shit like that. It's kind of
but the
scary.
Chinese have already rolled out their replacement.
Are you talking about Redline or whatever?
Yeah,
I know people that do that can say the only reason I even talk about this or deal with this shit is because of the making money on it or whatever. So I know people that make a ton of money on like TikTok. Money is real. Like it's tens of thousands of dollars a month, and you don't have to be like a little kid doing goofy shit or a girl showing your boobs. Like you can just do dumb things like talk about a fucking can opener or something at the right time in the right place, or a high pressure washer or something, and make tens of thousands of dollars. It's crazy how big that platform is and how people shop on it. So it's going to definitely affect people or whatever. But that they were talking, so those types of people were talking about the new one, and it seems dumb. Like it seems like what's the word? Like a tantrum, like a kid who's going to do like, oh, you said I can't do it, I'm going to do it more. So it's like, but so all these people are jumping onto this thing. It's all in Mandarin, but I don't know if it's, at least I'm not paying that much attention, but I've seen people raging about having to leave TikTok on Instagram. Like on Instagram, people are coming from TikTok and raging because they're scared that TikTok's going away. So they're back on Instagram, in other words, and now all of a sudden I'm seeing them again, or seeing them for the first time, I should say. But so I've seen some of these posts when I'm looking at Instagram complaining about TikTok, right? I'm assuming people know what I'm talking about. But that's where they're saying that they go over there and join that thing, and it's all half in Mandarin. And then when they get
I
over there, they figure out you can't have clothing that's shows skin. You can't say a bunch of dumb things. You can't say anything. There's so many rules that people didn't realize existed, but they went over there and signed up just because they were told they can't have TikTok.
I would like to go on record and say I will not body shame anyone. If a girl would like to show her boobs on the internet, that's her right.
It's woke of you.
More power to her. The Saint said China doesn't have TikTok. It's called Douyin. It limits content and screen time for kids. Fine Ape.
I've heard of that too, that they have way more restrictions, whatever it would be, national or whatever, government restrictions on the time kids can spend on the internet.
Fine Ape said, didn't some idiot chief petty officer just get busted for installing Starlink? Hang on. There we go. Starlink on one of our Latour combat ships. There was a female officer that put a Starlink, secretly installed a Starlink so she could watch her shows and got caught.
That is hilarious. I'm just on a Navy vessel. They'll never think to look at signals coming through. That's awesome. But at the same time, you'd think, what do they care? I guess they don't want Starlink knowing where the boats are.
Well, it's a unscrambled signal that probably can be picked up easily.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's anybody could figure out oh, look at somebody's watching Starlink in the middle of the ocean. I wonder who that could be. And they're moving at this speed. I wonder who that could be.
Yeah, you'll end up with a Chinese fishing vessel following you.
And it turns out they're only following so that they can watch the Starlink also.
Oh, well, so unless you have anything else you'd like to tell all these fine folks who stayed up late with us.
No, thanks for having a middle of the night show. That's the best time to be.
I appreciate everybody that was out there participating in the live chat. If you're out there and didn't say anything, don't be afraid to speak up. Let me know you're out there. Just say hi. And if you watch this in replay, leave a comment. Anything we talked about, agree with, disagree with. What's your favorite lever gun? I read all the comments, and they are always appreciated. Next chat will be next Saturday. And other than that, let me get that over there. There we go. Other than that, I hope everybody has a good rest of the night and go do something good.